Hey, how's it going everybody? This is TweakGG from Blacksite, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my very first SCUM guide. In this video, I'm going to quickly run through the character creation with you, but I'm not going to get too in-depth with it because that is a whole separate video on itself. There's still a lot of information out there that we want to find out about the intricacies of the character creation system. So when I have more information on that, I'm going to make a whole different guide just basically all about character creation, like how in-depth you can get with it. So today I'm just going to go over the basics, and then we're going to get into the game, and I'm going to show you guys what you should do in your first hour of SCUM to give you an advantage over, the other players you're going to come across. A couple of handy little tips and tricks that are going to help you out on your journey to survive in SCUM. So let's get started. So up here at the top, you put in your name, so pick whatever username you want. Down here we have the age modifier, so you can be any age from 20 up to 50. Now there is a reason why you might want to adjust your age in game. Having a lower age will give you a boost in dexterity, so you can see it's +2 there. But then you max out your age, you don't get dexterity, but instead you get constitution and you get intelligence, but you lose strength and dexterity. So what I usually do is I'll pick a middle ground. I'll just kind of go with 35. We don't get any intelligence, but we've got 1 strength, we've got 0.5 constitution and 0.5 dex. I will explain to you guys in just a minute what these affect, because it's on the next screen. So moving down here, we've got your body types. You can be muscular, you can be thin, you can be fat, you can be kind of a combination of each. You can be an average Joe if you want to be. What I've been doing is I've just been going with muscular, so I've got 5 strength, 5 constitution, 1.5 dexterity and 2.5 intelligence here. And again, I will show you guys why I'm choosing this in a minute once we get to the next screen. Then we have some cosmetic stuff down here, so your head type. So there's head type 1, head type 2, head type 3, then we've got head type 4. So you guys can pick whichever one you want, it's just whatever your preference is and how you want your character to look. I'm just going to go with head type 1 for the moment. You can toggle on and off tattoos. So again, this is purely cosmetic, maybe used as an identifier with your team. You could all pick a certain type of tattoos to use. That way you're more easily identified. So there's tattoo style 1, style 2, style 3, and style 4. So I'm just going to rock no tattoos, and let's move on to the next screen. So this is basically your skill selection screen. They're categorized. There's 4 different categories. You've got strength, you've got your constitution, you have your dexterity, and you have your intelligence. So what I generally do is I will just pump my melee weapons in strength because we use melee weapons an awful lot. And then I'll throw some points into handgun because pistols are, they're not widely available, but they'd be the most common firearm you're going to come across. So it's just nice to have a little bit more efficiency with those guns. You can go with boxing if you want, or rifles, it's up to you. But this is what I usually go with. And then in your constitution, I usually max running and then put endurance up as high as I can. I don't go near resistance. But again, this is just what I do. You can choose to go whatever path you like. As for dexterity, I will just throw as much as I can into throwing. Throwing's quite handy for throwing spears at zombies. It can do quite a decent bit of damage. Sorry, puppets. If you're throwing spears at puppets, it can do quite a decent bit of damage if you hit them in the head with it. Sometimes even one shot killing them. And then as far as intelligence is concerned, I just get my survival and I put it up as high as I can. Mostly because I haven't really messed with any of these other skills. As I said, we still have a little bit to learn about the other skills in the game. So, after a weekend, and I've played and spoken to some other people who've streamed the game and tried out some of these other skills for themselves, we can kind of narrow down what's going to be the most effective combination of skills to go with right off the bat. So, with all that said and done, I'm going to get into game, and I'm going to show you guys what I do in my first hour of SCUM to make it a bit more of a smooth start for you guys. So, I'll see you in a minute. So, here we are in the world of SCUM. We have our inmate pants and our inmate shirt and absolutely nothing else. We've got no food and no water and very little hope of surviving with what we currently have. So the first thing I always do when I get into the game is I will look straight down and start searching rocks. So what searching rocks does is it lets you find these little smaller rocks that are scattered around the place. And when you find 2 of them, you can go to your crafting menu and you can craft a stone knife. This is arguably one of the most important items for the early game that there is. It means you don't have to go explore houses, kill puppets, in order to find another knife that you can use for crafting, because having a stone knife will open up so many opportunities for you when it comes to crafting. So my next adventure here is going to be to go and find a puppet to fight. So once I find a puppet, I will be right back to you guys and I'll show you what we're going to do. All right, there we are. So this is the first puppet I've encountered so far. We're going to attempt to take this guy down, and I'll show you guys just why we're going straight for a puppet fight at the very start. So the trick here is to hit him and back up. Oh, wait for him to swing, back up. So wait for him to swing, hit him and back up. This is what I found to be most effective. So he swings again. We're going to hit him back. Wait for him to swing again. Hit him back again. And just rinse and repeat until he dies. This is quite a muscular puppet. He's a pretty big boy. So he might take a couple of hits to go down. But as long as you're careful and you take your time and you're patient, you should be able to put him down without taking too much damage. We're just going to wait for him to swing and then hit him back. And he's down. Easy as that. The last thing you want to do when you're fighting puppets is just get up in his face and just keep swinging, because it'll stagger them a little bit, but eventually, you know, they'll start to get sick of what you're doing and they'll just keep hitting you back. And you'll actually find yourself getting into a situation where you're being stun locked by the puppet. And before you know it, you're down to 50-60% health. Even after you patch up those wounds, your health does take quite a lot of time to regenerate. So when you get into a fight with a puppet, you want to make sure you get hit as little as possible, because you don't want to have to hang around or hide somewhere while you wait for your health to regenerate. So now that we've killed this puppet, I'm going to chop him up. Now I'll show you guys why in just a second. So we've actually got a couple of ingredients here. We're going to use his pants and his shirt there as well for something else too. So once we get him cut up, we're actually not going to eat this meat. I will show you guys what I like to do later on for my source of food. So now that we have him cut up, we're going to go over to like his leg or something. We're just going to cut that up as well. What we're looking for here is bone. I actually got really lucky when I killed him and I found this needle. So there's there's a couple of different things you can use. You can use a sewing kit, you can use a needle, or you can use a bone needle. If you can't find a regular needle straight off the bat, something very handy you can do is you can click on your stone knife, click on the bone, and then right click on the bone and go craft bone needle. So you can use this in place of a needle, you can use this in place of a sewing kit. So this is very, very helpful off the bat, because all you have to do is find a puppet and you'll be able to get yourself some very useful items just by finding this bone needle. So just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to drop the regular needle and take the bone one. So our next task here is we're going to be cutting up these clothes right here to get some rag strips. So I'm just going to chop these up. And once I have these chopped up, I will get back to you guys and I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, so the next thing we need to do here is we need to make some improvised rope. So to make improvised rope, we need 5 dirty rag strips. And for crafting our little bag, we're just going to have a look at our ingredients list here, our components list. We need 2 improvised rope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, look at these dirty rags. We're going to right click on them and cut them into rag strips. So I'm going to do these with all of these pretty much. And once that's done, I'll get back to you guys and we can carry on to the next step. All right, so I've cut up the rag strips. I already made 1 improvised rope, so I'm just going to craft my last one here. And then once we have our improvised rope, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up the clothes that I'm actually wearing to get some more rags. And then using all that together along with some wooden sticks, we'll be able to craft our backpack. So I'm just going to go in here. We're going to drop our knife. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take my knife in my hands and we're just going to cut these up into rags. So again, once I have this done, I'll be right back to you guys. All right, so I've got all these rags cut up. So we've got our 5 rags. There's 3 there. And then if we scroll down, we've got more here. One thing that actually happened there was my stone knife broke. So you might just have to craft more when you're doing this. Just bear in mind that your knife can break. It's one of the problems with the stone knife. You know, it's obviously not going to last you that long because you can just craft it. But other knives that you find out in the game, you know, they'll last you longer. But, you know, for the beginning, for something that you can find immediately or craft immediately, it honestly just has value in this game that can't be measured. Because finding another knife, you know, it could take you a long time, you know. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drop this stick. I'm going to bring it back to my pile. I'm just going to drop this stick down here. We got to get 5 of these in order to craft our improvised backpack. This is a little bit of a pain at the start, but once you do it, it's going to be well worth it. So I'm going to grab my stone knife. I'm going to go chop down another couple of bushes and bring them back to my pile. So once I have that done, I will be right back to you guys. Now, so I'm back at the pile. I have gathered all the ingredients that we need to make our small improvised backpack. Bear in mind, to craft this, you do need your stone knife in your hand. So the nice thing about SCUM is when it comes to crafting, all the items don't actually have to be on your character. So you can create like a little pile like this. You can drop everything you need to craft, you know, right there. And as long as they're in your proximity, you'll be able to craft. So just click on the small improvised backpack and give it a craft. And this will be our first key item that we are going to need to begin our adventure in SCUM. So once this is finished crafting, I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm just going to jump in here for a second and show you the improvised water container. I forgot to bring this up before, but the improvised water container can be found here in your crafting menu, and it can be made with animal skin, like an improvised rope, probably the easiest to get your hands on, a bone needle, or any other kind of needle you have, and then whatever sharp object you have. So your stone knife or whatever else you found. It can hold 15 portions of water, and it can be refilled at water sources. So like this pump I found in this town here, which is down in A2. So in order to fill it up, you just click on your improvised water container, click on the pump, right click the pump and click fill, and that'll fill it back up. This is super helpful when you're out, like, you know, you're exploring the world with your buddies, or you might be out there on your own. You don't have to worry about coming across other sources of hydration for yourself, like searching houses and stuff like that. In case you don't find it, you don't want to get dehydrated. The only thing I will say to you is don't drink it all in one go, because your character may get explosive diarrhea, as I have found out beforehand. So yeah, just drink it kind of one at a time, you know, watch your metabolism and see what's happening there. Just make sure you're not overloading yourself with water. All right, I'm going to jump back to the other part of the video and we'll carry on from there. All right, so as you guys can see here in the list on the left hand side of all the items that are in our proximity, a lot of the stuff was used up in order to craft this little small improvised backpack. So you just want to right click on it and equip it, and as you can see, we have tons of space now to carry all our useful items with us. So I'm going to take the stone knife, I'm going to take the bone needle, I'm also going to take these rag strips, and I'm going to take a little bit of human meat with me too. We maybe cook that up a little later on. It may not be ideal to always be eating human meat, but you know, when you're stuck for food, you're stuck for food. So that is how you make the improvised backpack. The small improvised backpack is a very handy item to have at the very start of the game. Something else you can do too is once you have this backpack, you can go fight some puppets. You can get some more clothing off them. And by picking up more clothing off puppets and filling up these other equipment slots, you will get access to a lot more space. So next thing we're going to focus on is how to make a little stone axe we can use to cut down these trees. So I'm going to go gather the materials required to do that, and I will be right back with you guys. Hey, before we get to the bit where I show you guys how to make the old stone axe, I just wanted to jump in here real quick and show you guys a different method that you can use when starting off in SCUM if you want to get off to a quicker start and get straight into fighting puppets and stuff. So it's going to be basically the same as before. I'm going to craft the stone knife as per usual. But instead of, you know, going ahead and cutting down bushes and looking for all these other materials, what you can do is you can cut up your inmate shirt and your inmate pants. And what this is going to allow you to do is to craft the improvised courier backpack, which is a 3x3 slot bag. So this will be one of the quickest ways you can kind of get a bag, you know, that's going to hold a decent amount of stuff for you. So for those of you out there that want to just kind of, you know, do this right off the bat, get straight into a town, fight some puppets and, you know, get straight into the action, this might be more suited to you guys. So I just said I'd throw this in here just as an alternative to the method that I showed at the start of the video. So I'm just going to show you guys here real quick. We need some rope, so we're going to go up here and craft our improvised rope. We need one more rag strip for this, so I'm just going to cut this up real quick. As my cat's meow in the background. So we're just going to craft the improvised rope real quick, and then after this we should be able to craft our improvised courier backpack. So the idea here is you get your courier backpack straight away, you go straight for a town, you go and grab some clothing off some puppets, and essentially you make up for the lesser bag space simply by picking up clothes off puppets. It kind of makes up for it in the difference. So you can do this kind of any way you want, really. This is just if you want to get straight into it at the very start, this would be the method for you. So it's nearly crafted here. We're using up our improvised rope. We're going to have a rag strip left over here as well. So there's our courier backpack. We're going to equip that, take our stone knife, take our rag strips. We have our bag. We're ready to go. We are pantless, but we're ready. So yeah, from this point on, you want to go to a town, fight puppets, loot houses for clothing, and then carry on. So I'm going to jump you guys back over to the other part of the guide where I show you guys how to make the stone axe. See you guys over there in a second. Okay, so I have gone ahead and crafted a small stone axe head. I'll just show it to you guys here. This one. All you need for this is 2 small stones. So again, same as the stone knife, the very same ingredient, just a different area in the crafting menu. So once you get this crafted, this is the ingredient for, where is it? Here, the stone axe. So again, we just got to go get an improvised rope, get a long wooden stick, and then we'll be able to use all of this together in order to make a stone axe. And with that stone axe, we'll be able to chop down some trees. So I'm going to go make some improvised rope. Once I have that done, I'll be back with you guys. All right, so I just had a bit of a messy fight with this puppet. I had to go explore a little bit and find another one of these guys so I could cut up his clothes into some rag strips. So I'm just going to equip his boots. I'm going to equip his cotton shirt as well. You get one extra space then on your character. So you see what I mean by finding a puppet and killing them. You'll be able to take some clothing off them, which will give you extra inventory space. So I know one slot might seem like, you know, it might not seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, that one extra slot might be an extra bit of food you can carry around with you. So what I'm going to do here is we've got our rag strips. We're going to go into our crafting menu. We're just going to craft an improvised rope. And this is all for crafting our stone axe. So once we have this crafted, we should be able to get our little stone axe, which can be also used as a melee weapon. The ingredients for this are the small stone axe head. You have the long wooden stick, and then you've got some improvised rope. You get the long wooden sticks from cutting down bushes. So I grabbed one from the last location we were at, and I brought it with us. I actually used it as a melee weapon to beat up this puppet here. So once we have this crafted, it'll kind of eliminate the need for our stone knife, and we can just use our stone axe instead. So now with this stone axe, we can pretty much run up to any tree that we like, and we can chop it down. So the reason why we want to be able to chop down trees is to be able to make fire rings. So with these fire rings, it's basically a fireplace where you can use it to cook meat and stuff that you find around the place. So in order to craft a fire ring, you need 8 stone, you need a wooden log, and then it says here you need brake oil, you can use gunpowder, you can use paper, or you can use rags or rag strips or some tinder. So again, it's quite a flexible recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab all of the ingredients that we require to make this little fireplace, and I will be right back to you guys. All right, so what I ended up doing was going into that house over there to find some clothes that I could cut up into rags in order to make this little fireplace. So now we have all the ingredients we need. So all I'm going to do is click on the fire ring. All it requires is 8 small stones. I picked those up already. We've got some wooden logs here, and then we've got some rag strips. So I'm just going to craft this right here. It's very important as well, guys, that you carry these around with you too. Like, these rags, always have 1 or 2 on you, because every time you get hit, you'll see here, injury. So if it says sick after this, it means you're taking damage. Like, it's almost as if you have like a bleed effect on you. In order to fix that, you're going to have to use a rag to patch yourself back up. So that's another really, really important use for these rags. So it's always good to have an abundance of them on you. So now we actually need something to light the fire. So what we're going to do in order to light the fire is we're going to make a fire drill. So we need 2 long wooden sticks, and then we need a stone knife to craft, or you can use any knife of your choosing. So I'm just going to craft this fire drill here real quick in order to start the fire. If you happen to come across a lighter, you can also use that to start your fires. But if you need to craft one, you can just make a fire drill. So what we're going to do here is we're going to grab the fire drill, which is here on the ground, the fire ring, and then we're just going to click light fire. Just going to give this a second here, and the fire should be lit. All right, so now that we have our lit fire, I'm going to go to crafting. We're going to make a skewer. So again, this is just 3 long wooden sticks. Very easy recipe to craft. And what we're going to do once this is finished crafting is we're going to get some of that human meat that we had earlier, and we're going to put it on our skewer, and then we're going to cook it. So I'm just going to wait for this to finish crafting. We have our skewer down here. I'm going to click on our human steak. We're going to right click, and we're going to craft a skewer with meat. So once this is done, we'll be able to put this on the fire and cook it, and it'll give us a nice bit of food that we'll be able to eat. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the fire ring. I'm going to highlight the skewer with meat, right click on the fire ring, and then click cook. So once this is cooked, we'll be able to pick it up and munch on. So I'm going to grab our skewer with meat. We're going to put it in our hands. And we're going to have our first meal of our adventure in Scum. So there we go. It actually has 5 uses. This is why the skewers of meat are kind of nice. So it makes it like a single-use steak into, you know, something that you can use to like really fill your character up. So as you can see here, you know, our bladder volume's up there. 99% here with a skewer of meat. This is pretty much what we've been eating. So you can see our stomach volume is flying up. So I'm going to get into this more in depth with our metabolism video. What happens, you know, when you eat and, you know, your intestine volume, your colon volume and all this other stuff and all these other stats here. I'm going to get into that in another video because it's very in depth. This video would go on for ages if I was to get into it now. But that is basically it, guys. What you want to do is you obviously want to hunt down animals. You don't necessarily want to be eating human meat. So boars and stuff that you find in the woods, if you can find those, kill them, take their meat. That's how you want to end up cooking them. So now that I've shown you guys how to make, you know, some of the basic stuff, some of the nice things that you can get early on that are really going to help you out. Oh yeah, I also got these, I got these, this clothing from the house inside, and I got some of it off another puppet that I killed in there as well. But as you can see, we've got a lot more inventory space now. We got a tracksuit top, we got some sweatpants, more inventory space, our small improvised backpack. So we're really on our way now to, you know, getting to somewhere comfortable in game where, you know, we're getting to where survival is, you know, it's feeling more viable. So what I'm going to do next is, I think I might show you guys some points of interest. So I will be right back once we get to one of the points of interest. Okay, I just wanted to jump in here for a second now that I've shown you guys how to, you know, make a fire and cook the meat you've come across, be it from, you know, an animal or whether you've decided to eat some human meat or not. I just wanted to say that there is actually a lot of food that you can find throughout the world on the prison islands, such as like, you know, vegetable patches. There's cornfields you can find. You can get apples from apple trees. And from our testing in the game, we found that you're able to keep a really sort of, how would I explain it? Like a healthy metabolism by just living off the land and eating these, you know, eating stuff that you find from vegetable patches and, you know, stuff off apple trees and corn as well. Like, because when you come across a cornfield, there is tons of food there. So if you have plenty of space to carry food, like a cornfield will do you for a very long time. So I just felt like it needed to be said that you don't necessarily have to, like, you know, find food and cook it and this. Like, there is definitely an alternative to that. And so far from what we've seen, it's a really good way to keep your metabolism in check. I'm not going to get into that now because it's a very, very long, subject, metabolism in this game. It is incredibly in-depth and very complicated. I'm going to be making a video on it soon. It's definitely its own video. So yeah, once I make that guide, you'll sort of have a better understanding of how it all works. And I'll go over, you know, which foods are really good for, you know, keeping a steady metabolism, trying to keep your calories burned equals to your calories taken in and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make that point clear that there's definitely other ways of, you know, feeding yourself in game other than having to eat human meat or hunting down animals for it. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys back to have a look at the point of interest. So we're back. So what I did was that character that I was showing you guys in the first part of the video was just a single player character, just a fresh character. This is actually the character that I've been playing since, I think I only made this character last night, but as you can see, I've got quite a decent bit of gear on him. I've got like mags for an M1, I've got some SVD magazines, I got an SVD up here with a little bit of ammo for it. We've got a Hunter 55 rifle, some ammo for it as well. We've got a decent bit of clothing, we got a nice backpack too, got a pistol, and a few other bits and pieces, a nice little bayonet instead of our stone knife. And I found all this stuff in the prison, which is located just there in C2 to my right, that little cluster of orange there. So what I'm going to do is, we're just going to run over there. And I'm going to show you guys how I get in there and how I avoid the mechs on the way in. And just see if we can make our way back in there. And I'll show you guys some of the places that we can loot in there. So, let me just make sure I'm running the right direction here, yep. Just before I logged out last night, I wanted to get away from this area, just in case my character got killed while I was logging out or something. But this area should be devoid of puppets because of the mechs. So we can see just there that prison wall is coming up. And I'm going to show you guys the easiest way to get in here without attracting the mech's attention. Now, You might end up pulling one of the mechs if it sees you. Don't worry too much about it. You can generally run by and tank a couple of shots. There's one of them right there. So what we're going to do... There's actually a couple of puppets around there too. Yeah, there's a puppet there. I think I see another puppet there in the yard as well. There wasn't any here last night. I guess the mechs just aren't attacking them. Yeah, no, the mechs don't care about the puppets. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way down here towards this orange wall. We're going to wait for this mech to turn around. And then we're going to make our way through one of the breaks in the fence. Either that, or I think there might be another entrance just over there to the right. No, I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and go through that gate, run past the puppets, go in and close the gate behind us. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this mech to move on. Oh, he has spotted me. Okay, I'm going to run away. Alright, so they do have quite a wide aggro radius. But provided you kind of sit still and do nothing, they should kind of head away. So what I'm going to do is... Yeah, there he goes. Alright, so we might as well just wait until he moves off and then we can get a little bit closer. So I'm just going to kind of crawl my way over here and hopefully we don't pull aggro on him again. Oh, he's going back the other way now. Oh, they never do this. And then, of course, as soon as I'm recording a video, they just want to mess with me. Alright, so he should walk a little bit further down that way to the right and we should be able to make a break for the door. You want to keep an eye on your stamina as well down the bottom left-hand side of the screen and make sure you have enough stamina to be running too. Because the last thing you want to do is get caught out in the open by a mech when you don't have any stamina left to run. Alright, so we should be well out of his radius of detection now, so I'm going to start moving down towards this gate really quick. Alright, we've got a puppet somewhere close to us there. I'm just going to ignore him. So we're going to run up here. We're going to open this gate. And we're just going to run. So. Oh, this is kind of messy. Just going to get in here and open this gate. We're going to turn around. I'm going to close that behind me. I'm getting caught in the corner. Leave me alone. Alright, so... Oh no, this is bad. Right, I'm going to open this door. Try and close that behind us. Kill that one puppet real quick. Okay. That was a little bit messier than it had to be, but you know what? We're alive. It's fine. Alright, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I've shown you guys how to get into the prison. I don't really want to ruin what's in there for you guys. So, once you get in game, you know where it is now. You know how to get there. I'll let you guys get in there and explore that for yourself. Because I feel like it'll be a lot more fun for yourselves, to get in there and find all the little nooks and crannies where all the nice loot is. So, yeah. I'm just not going to show you guys that. You're going to have to wait and get your hands on the game first before you see that. But a lot of the gear that I was wearing, I did find in there. So, there's some pretty nice loot in there to be found. So, something I just want to say here really quickly before we wind the video down. This game is in early access. Everything that I have just told you guys is very much subject to change. The game is being patched almost every other day, if not every day. For the last couple of weeks, these guys have been going hard patching the game. So if you've made it to this part of the video and something I said in the video is now outdated, maybe a month after I've released this video, I do apologize. But there is a good chance that down the line, this is an early access game. The game is being patched all the time. There is a chance that some of the information that I've given you guys in this video may become outdated. So I just feel like that's necessary to say, because I know I'm going to get comments in a month's time or 2 months time and so it's going to be like, no, it's not the recipe for crafting that bag. It's like, look, man, early access games, they change all the time. So I just felt like that needed to be said as sort of a disclaimer. Something I didn't mention in the video, though, is that on the map, you'll notice there's a lot of different sections. In each different section of the map, there are actually zones similar to the prison I just showed you guys. So very high loot zones that are defended by mechs. So we haven't even found all of the different high loot zones in each cell. We just haven't had time to explore them all yet. So just bear that in mind that, once you, once you get in game, you might stumble across these while you're just searching through the map. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you found this guide helpful. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you have any ideas for any other videos you'd like to see, you know, in SCUM, feel free to let me know. I'll probably end up making them. So yeah, I hope you guys found this guide useful. I will see you guys on Prison Island. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the launch.